Well, we're in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic, and I hope it is over soon. It's pretty scary, all things considered. And deadly enough, anyway. While the recovery to death ratio, the amount of recoveries are taking the lead by far, at least from what I've seen. Maybe I'm wrong, but I hope not. It's still scary. And I've been fairly cooped up here lately, and with the possibility of being really cooped up if it gets any worse. So let's hope it doesn't come to that. But anyway, we're not going to spend this whole video talking about that. We're going to do a general update of things. CJ6 got a V2203 with a turbo, and that's a direct injected engine. Still in the process of finishing it up, but we have been running and driving it. No, it's not going to have a hood stack when it's done. The old Duramax here, she's got 145 thou on her now, and I definitely did not delete the EGR cooler. I just installed an invisible one. And I put on a bigger turbo inlet snout because the factory LLY ones are very restrictive. So I put on that bigger one, and I noticed a difference in the truck between this pipe here, which goes from the cold side of the air-to-air down to the Y bridge, and that turbo inlet. That made a big difference. So we did that. We did the fuel pressure regulator, which fixed my surging issue that this had, and thermostats, because it seems like every Duramax we've ever had needed thermostats in it after a while because it wouldn't stay up to operating temperature. So now she's good to go, working good. So yeah. Oh yeah, you guys saw the lift level that I put on it. It's, for lack of better words, I guess, but it's actually a 2-inch lift. I will say this though, since I relocated the crankcase vents and they just vent to atmosphere now instead of being sucked into the turbo inlet there, this truck no longer uses oil in between oil changes. It used to burn just over a quart of oil every 5,000 mile oil change. Like it had to add an additional quart in the midst of that. And I'm now 3,000 miles into the last oil change, and it has not used any oil, or very little at least. Awesome. So before you see this video, of course, you'll see the video of me doing the steering on this thing. And yeah, hopefully that holds up. I was looking around trying to find a 1-inch elbow, and for some I couldn't seem to find one. So I made up this elaborate piece that fits in here, something like that. And I sent a picture to Hugh and the other guys that come down to plow day, and I said, what do you think of this contraption? And Hugh goes, dude, why didn't you just order this? And he sends me a link to a 1-inch 90-degree elbow from siliconeintakes.com, and I'm like, I seriously couldn't find that the other day. Oh well. Sometimes you waste a whole day making, well, not a whole day, a couple hours making a pipe for no reason other than the learning experience, I guess. But yeah, I had a machine shop make me a stub shaft here for the drive shaft, which I now have to shorten. But anyway, we're not going to get too deep into this. But unfortunately now, because of this whole pandemic, it looks like plow day's not happening. So there are a couple plow events that I plan on going to later in the year. Hopefully this thing will be here. But seeing as how I'm no longer crunched, or be there, not here. But seeing as how I'm no longer on a time crunch to get this thing done, we're going to slow things down and do things the way I want to do them, because for me to have this done for plow day, I'd really have to cut some corners. And to put this lightly, there'd be way too many zip ties holding important stuff together, at least way more than I'd like. But anyway, let's go have a look at the junkyard or fence row, whichever you want to call it, QT16. Well, here she is. And thanks to Farmer All on YouTube, got myself a not nearly as fucked steering wheel. I have yet to find one that's not cracked here, so that's good enough for me. He sold it to me for a reasonable price, so I'm happy with that. And as you can see, we had to basically break the old one off, and I think I screwed something up in the steering column, because now I can do that. So, oh well. I'll fix it someday. But I'm just happy this actually has a steering wheel on it that isn't all broken up and cuts the crap out of your hands when you use it. The poor Case 220 I've done nothing more with, and hopefully someday here soon I'll get to it, but you know, all in due time, I suppose. The poor Honda's been evicted. I need to get it back inside. Poor thing. Well, these poor sad tractors. Not gonna get to go to plow day this year. Not to say that they won't plow this year, but just not at plow day probably. Unless by some miracle plow day can still happen, but I doubt it. Oh, yeah, the poor little Cub Cadet original that I'm swapping the post twin Kohler on, it's still sitting here. I'll get back on this in the summer. But scored a couple pretty nice seats at the junkyard the other week for pretty cheap. I think I paid $20 or $25 for these 3 seats and a few good gas tanks, tractor gas tanks, garden tractor, whatever. But yeah, these poor neglected things. Poor old Blue, which no, I have not given up on. I still haven't done anything since the last update video to this poor thing. I've just been using the truck to take garbage down to the burn pile here at the shop whenever we need to. But I am going to get back on this truck. And I wanted to do it this winter, but it just didn't happen. But I think this coming winter, I'm really going to, like, there are going to be no tractor projects. It's going to be focus on this poor thing. But I'd like to start that as soon as possible, but I would like to get that Cub Cadet original running and driving first. But then we'll get on this thing, because I miss this poor truck. Is this actually worth it? No, probably not. But I'm a sentimental dumbass, and this was my first truck, so, you know, let's just cost myself lots of extra money when I could probably just go out and buy another truck that's about the same truck but in way better shape. But you know, I'm dicked. So here in a bit, I'm gonna head her up to the house, and we'll go out to the old crack shack, which I'm not sure if you guys have seen it yet or not. Can't remember if I did a video in there or not yet. But it's just a Harbor Freight garage canopy behind my house to keep the tractors out of the weather up there. At least the ones that behave. But yeah, you'll find out that when we get up there, that I sold one. You may or may not be surprised, but it's not a big deal. And I'll explain to you why when we get there. All right, stay tuned. All right, so here we are in the crack shack behind my house. Got a Sam's Club light up there. Greeley 18H Professional, Boland's 1050, Sears SS16, and here's the surprise. Oh, It's a QT16. Another one that I talked about in the latest video of the junkyard or fence row, whatever you want to call it, QT16. And I had mentioned about a special attachment. I guess we'll just show you. I was going to make you wait, but 3-point. Oh yeah, it's all here too. Even get this brace in there, which I took off. But I was tickled to find this. I picked this up real cheap. Picked it up for, what was it, 180. Guy had it for well, he bought a piece of property off his uncle, a house and a garage and land, and his uncle had owned this tractor, and before he bought the property from his uncle put the tractor in the garage, and it sat there for a few years, I guess, and then sat there all the time, the 10 years that he owned it, and now he wanted to tear the garage down and rebuild a garage, or build a new garage. So I scooped this up. I already got it to have spark. I got it to run on ether. Had to clean the points, and then the starter decided that it was done being a starter. I'm thinking what happened is the bushing in the gear end of the starters wore out, and it's like binding up or something, because it'll stop dead and you have to spin the engine backwards to get it to unlock. So I got to get this down to the shop and pressure wash all this dirt and mouse shit and piss stink off of it, and then change the starter and whatnot. Whoops. But yeah, so I'm pretty tickled about this thing. Already has ags on it, and they're tubed and they hold air, and so I just need to find a 3-point plow for this, and this will go to plow day next year. But yeah, everything here's, I mean, these three run good, and the Boland's 1220, I still have that. It's in the shed that's over there. Just had it out the other day. I think my homemade ignition module, which is the Ford ABS sensor for the crank trigger, GM HEI distributor module, and then coil. I think it's a little bit too advanced because it kind of holds it up from starting sometimes, so I'll have to fix that. But yeah. Oh, and of course, if you haven't noticed already, the HT20 Boland's is gone. That's the one I sold. I had it for like 3 years or more and hadn't done anything with it other than repower it and drive it around, so I just decided to let it go. Made a slight profit on it, so that's good enough for me. The 1864 Cub, that 670 Predator that's on it is being temperamental again, doesn't want to run, and every time I turn around there's a new problem with the tractor itself, and the current problem is actually there's two. The bearings in the mower deck are shot, and the power steering valve leaks. So yay, might just end up parting it out. Picked this up for parts, by the way. I can't remember what model case it is, but it's got a Onan on it. But yeah, that's what's going on up here. So look forward to seeing that in a video, and of course we'll try to get some of these tractors out to different plow event this year. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you watching and subscribing and liking my videos and all that. I just do it for fun, so as long as you guys are getting some enjoyment out of it too, that's good news for me. Happy I could entertain you for a little while. But thank you so much for watching again, and until next time, guys, take care.